So this is how the tables turn, not with a dramatic buzzer beater, not with a jersey retirement ceremony, but with a cold stare and an unexpected truth bomb on national television. When ESPN's Chain and Agua Mike tried to throw casual shade at the Indiana Fever, she clearly didn't expect what came next. Sitting across from her was Kelsey Mitchell, a WNBA veteran who's endured years of irrelevance, disrespect, and heartbreak, all without a spotlight. But this time, she wasn't having it. With cameras rolling, Mitchell refused to play nice. She didn't smile. She didn't blink. She struck back, not with theatrics, but with undeniable, unshakable truth. In that moment, the entire mood of the segment shifted. What was supposed to be routine banter quickly morphed into a reckoning. Mitchell didn't raise her voice. She didn't point fingers. Instead, she dismantled years of media narrative with a single composed response. It was a kind of quiet storm that doesn't scream. It roars without sound. The panel expected jokes. What they got was justice. The kind only a player who's seen the absolute bottom can deliver. Mitchell's words didn't just hit, they echoed across the league, across the fan base, across every analyst who spent years ignoring Indiana like they were background noise. For so long, the Fever were treated like a WNBA afterthought. And Mitchell, just another loyal vet wasting her prime on a team that could never break through. But suddenly, the script was flipped, right there, on live television. Mitchell didn't ask for her flowers. She took them. Let's not sugarcoat it. That ESPN moment wasn't just awkward, it was historical. Because for the first time in a long time, someone from Indiana looked the media in the face and said, "You're wrong." The cameras didn't cut. The commentators didn't interrupt. Because no one knew what to say. Mitchell took control without yelling. She corrected without condescending. And she did it all while reminding the world that behind the flash of new stars is a foundation of players who fought for this league when no one else would. The truth? It cut deeper than any meme, any stat line, any flashy highlight reel. Mitchell called out what many fans already knew. Indiana isn't new to the grind. They've just been ignored while grinding. And Mitchell? She's been the one carrying the weight. Through losses, through empty arenas, through the passing of her own father, and still showing up like it's Game 7 every night. So when national TV hosts chuckled at her team's rise, she didn't laugh. She reminded them why they were wrong to ever overlook her. And let's talk about that rise, because it's not accidental. Mitchell could have left. She could have chased rings in Vegas, in New York, in LA, but she stayed, season after season. No praise, no headlines, just buckets, just backbone. While others jumped ship for super teams, she became the anchor of a franchise everyone had written off. And now that Indiana is finally on the climb, the media wants to twist the narrative like she's riding the wave that Caitlin Clark brought in. But Mitchell sees the bigger picture, and she made sure ESPN did too. And here's where the real drama begins. Because in the middle of all this noise, Kelsey Mitchell did something even more controversial. She gave Caitlin Clark credit. Yes, you heard that right. She didn't downplay the rookie sensation. She didn't roll her eyes or brush it off. She said it plainly. Clark changed the game. She said what everyone else in the room was too scared to admit. And in doing so, she broke the unspoken media rule that's been floating around since Clark entered the league. Never give the rookie too much credit. But Mitchell doesn't play by those rules. She plays by the truth. And the truth is, Caitlin Clark's presence has elevated not just Indiana, but the entire WNBA. Sold out arenas, skyrocketing ratings, social media buzz that's never existed at this level for the women's game. Mitchell didn't just acknowledge that, she embraced it. And that makes her different. Because while some former players and analysts spend their time throwing shade, Mitchell chose grace. She chose facts. She chose to build, not tear down. Let's not forget, the narrative that's being pushed, it's not just one player, was crafted by people who never wanted Caitlin Clark in the first place. She didn't come through their system. She didn't wait her turn. She burst through the door, rewrote the rule book, and made people pay attention. And for some, that's threatening. So instead of celebrating the once-in-a-generation impact she's had, they dilute it. They try to smear it across the whole league like it's business, as usual. But Mitchell? She's not playing that game. What makes Mitchell's comments even more powerful is that they weren't born from loyalty to Clark. They were born from loyalty to reality. Kelsey Mitchell is no rookie. She's seen every version of the league, from near collapse to now. So when she says Clark is changing the game, it's not hyperbole. It's a weathered veteran calling it like she sees it. And in that ESPN moment, the power shifted, not just on the court, but in the conversation. Because suddenly, the truth was too loud to ignore. But this isn't just about Caitlin Clark. This is about the partnership between two players who should, by media standards, be at odds. Mitchell, the vet; Clark, the rookie. The league wants tension. The press wants drama. But what they got instead? A revolution. A duo that's rewriting every outdated idea of what team chemistry should look like. Clark finds Mitchell on the wing. Mitchell feeds Clark in transition. No ego, no politics, just synergy. And when the cameras aren't rolling, that chemistry is still there. You can see it in the way they look at each other after a big play, in the unspoken communication that makes defenses dizzy, in the post-game interviews where they redirect praise toward each other. This is not just a professional partnership, it's a basketball bond. And it's not fueled by drama, it's fueled by respect. That's the part the league never saw coming. The WNBA begged for mainstream attention. They prayed for sellouts, for headlines, for viral clips. Caitlin Clark delivered it in droves. But instead of riding the wave, some insiders started pulling back. Former stars turned analysts began pushing narratives like, one player can't be the reason. ESPN started rotating the spotlight like it was on a timer. And the league, rather than embracing the phenomenon, got nervous. Why? Because they didn't build this hype. And what you don't build, you can't control. Mitchell saw through all of it, and she wasn't afraid to say it. Her ESPN moment wasn't about defending a teammate. It was about defending the truth. And that truth, it's uncomfortable for some, because it means acknowledging that the system failed to create what Caitlin Clark organically became. It means confronting the fact that gatekeepers lost the keys. And it means that players like Mitchell, who've kept the league alive through its darkest days, are finally demanding their due. And yet, that demand isn't coming with a temper tantrum or a Twitter tirade. It's coming through wins, through performances, through back-to-back games where Kelsey Mitchell drops 20-plus without breaking a sweat, and Caitlin Clark follows it up with a triple-double that breaks the internet. This team isn't asking for validation. They're proving they never needed it. And that's the scariest part for the old guard, because once you prove you don't need the media to win, you take away their power. The Indiana Fever aren't just stacking victories, they're stacking statements. Every win is a rebuttal. Every highlight is a headline the media didn't see coming. Mitchell drives the lane like she's carrying the weight of every ignored season. Clark pulls up from the logo like the game owes her nothing. Together, they're not just playing basketball, they're rewriting the expectations of what women's basketball should look like. Loud, fast, ruthless, unified. You can feel it in the crowd. These aren't the same sleepy audiences from years past. These are standing room only arenas filled with dads and daughters, longtime fans and brand new believers. And they're not just there for Caitlin Clark. They're learning who Kelsey Mitchell is. They're chanting her name, wearing her jersey, Googling her stats and asking, wait, why haven't we been talking about her this whole time? That's the power of the moment we're in. One player brought them to the table. The other reminds them why they should stay. Mitchell didn't have to go viral to be valuable. She didn't have to score 40 in a debut to matter. She's been doing the work for 7 years. Through losses, through change, through personal grief. She stayed in Indiana when the league gave her every reason not to. That kind of loyalty doesn't get celebrated enough in sports. But now it's getting its moment. And she earned it the hard way, one silent, steady season at a time. And let's not ignore the elephant in the room. The media was never ready for this. They had their scripts prepared. The rookie sensation, the team drama, the spicy rivalries that fuel Twitter wars and drive engagement. But what they got was something they couldn't predict. Two players who actually like each other, who work together, who elevate one another without ego. It's not the feud they wanted. It's the foundation the league needed. When Mitchell sat in that ESPN chair and said what she said, she didn't just defend Caitlin Clark. She defended progress. She defended momentum. And in doing so, she forced every analyst, every panelist, every commentator who's tried to downplay Clark's impact to confront a new reality. The players themselves are setting the narrative now. Not the studios, not the execs, not the talking heads. The athletes are taking back their own stories, and they're doing it with poise, with power, and with performance. You can sense the panic behind the smiles on certain broadcasts. You can feel the unease in carefully worded statements. Because if Caitlin Clark continues to rise, and if Kelsey Mitchell keeps proving she's a heartbeat of Indiana, the league will have to finally admit that its future belongs to players it didn't fully bet on. And the fans? They already have. Social media is flooded with fever clips, Mitchell highlights, Clark assists. The narrative isn't just changing, it's evolving in fast. Even more powerful is how Clark responds. She's not claiming the throne. She's deflecting credit. She's lifting up teammates. And when Mitchell shines, she's the first one clapping. That humility, that awareness, that's rare. And it's dangerous to every system that thrives on conflict. Because when you take away drama and all that's left is dominance, you expose just how shallow the old narratives were to begin with. Meanwhile, Mitchell continues to prove that longevity matters, that grit is underrated, that you can be the foundation without ever needing the fame. And now that the spotlight is finally warming her face, she's not blinking, she's not changing, she's just doubling down on everything that got her here, which makes her even more compelling, even more irreplaceable, even more worthy of every ounce of respect she's been denied for years. This is no longer a Cinderella story. This is a regime change. The Indiana Fever are not lucky, they're lethal. Built not by headlines, but by heartbreak. Fueled not by hype, but by hunger. Mitchell and Clark didn't stumble into chemistry. They forged it. Every no-look pass, every pick and roll, every clutch bucket. It's all been building towards something bigger than basketball. It's been building toward a cultural reset. And that reset is making people uncomfortable. Because it means reevaluating old takes. It means rewriting history books that skipped over players like Mitchell. It means giving credit where it's long overdue. The media will have to do something they rarely enjoy. Admit they got it wrong. About Indiana, about Kelsey, about what really sells tickets and earns loyalty. It's not controversy, it's connection, it's continuity. And that's what this Fever team brings. It's not just about the scoreboard anymore. It's about symbolism. Every time Clark and Mitchell dap up after a big play, it's a reminder that women's basketball doesn't need to be rescued. It just needed to be respected. Every sellout crowd, a clap back to years of doubt. Every record-breaking stream, a response to every exec who once said, "Women's sports don't draw." And leading the charge are two players from completely different paths who found common purpose. That's the plot twist. That's what no one prepared for. Not ESPN, not the gatekeepers, not the commentators with pre-written narratives. The real drama isn't a feud. It's in the unity, in the partnership, in the silent agreement between two elite players that says, we're doing this our way, and it's working. Because now, the Indiana Fever aren't just a team, they're a blueprint. So the next time a panel tries to throw shade, don't expect Mitchell to laugh it off. Don't expect Clark to shrink. Expect them to respond the only way they know how, by dominating, by elevating, by continuing to build something that's never been done in the WNBA at this scale, at this speed, with this kind of unapologetic purpose. Because while the media debates who's more valuable, these two are out there proving it's not about either or. It's about together. And that unity is unstoppable. It's bigger than a segment, bigger than a viral clip. It's the foundation of a new era, one where loyalty is honored, where rookies are embraced, where the past, present, and future of the league finally converge. And at the center of it all, a vet who never gave up, and a rookie who never asked permission. Kelsey Mitchell and Caitlin Clark aren't just teammates. They're a revolution. If you're still doubting this duo, look around. The fans know. The numbers prove it. The wins speak louder than anything a mic'd up analyst could say. This isn't a fluke. This isn't temporary. This is a shift. This is a story. And whether the media is ready or not, it's already being written in real time. So if you're with us, if you're riding this wave, if you see what's happening, smash that like button. Drop your MVP pick in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe. Because trust us, this isn't the end of the story. It's just the beginning. And if this is what the new WNBA looks like, then the league has never looked better. And to Kelsey Mitchell, thank you for refusing to smile when they expected you to, for standing firm when the cameras rolled, for proving that quiet strength can shake the loudest rooms. The game owes you more than flowers. It owes you the crown you've already worn in silence for years. And to Caitlin Clark, keep showing up, keep elevating, keep being the spark that lit a fire nobody can put out. The WNBA didn't create you, but it'll never be the same without you. And to Indiana Fever fans, you waited, you endured, you believed, and now you're watching history unfold. One game, one statement, one legend at a time. This isn't just about a team climbing the standings. This is about power shifting hands. The Fever are no longer just a franchise. They're a movement. Mitchell's grit, Clark's gravity, a deep, hungry bench that's tired of being overlooked. They didn't buy a roster. They built a bond. And that bond is stronger than any media narrative. While ESPN chases feuds, Indiana is chasing legacy. And every game they win, it's another nail in the coffin of the old WNBA. So now the question isn't whether Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell can coexist. The question is, can the league handle what they've created? Because every time the media tries to downplay their impact, they answer with wins. Every time analysts question their dynamic, they deliver highlight after highlight. This isn't hype, it's history, and it's being written in real time. The Indiana Fever aren't just winning. They're dismantling the system that once ignored them.